A young man steps into a crowded room. His heart beats faster, but he keeps his head down. To him, he is just another face, another body, lost in the noise of strangers. He believes no one cares, no one notices. But the camera sees what he does not. A girl at the corner lifts her eyes and studies him for a second longer than usual. Another person shifts aside, giving him space as if out of respect. A man nearby pauses, eyes flicking toward him, then quickly away. Tiny signs, silent clues. The young man walks forward, unaware. He feels invisible. Yet, invisible is the last thing he really is. The room is alive with small reactions. A soft smile from someone across the table. A whisper behind him that carries his name. The air changes when he enters, though he does not sense it. The narrator's voice cuts through the scene. What if you are more attractive than you realize? What if the world is giving you signals every single day, but you've been too blind to see them? The suspense deepens. The camera lingers on the girl's glance, the polite smile, the way people adjust their bodies around him. It's all there, hidden in plain sight. The young man sits down, still lost in his own thoughts. He thinks he is ordinary, unnoticed, unimportant. But the truth is very different. The truth is waiting to be revealed. This story is not about the man you think you are, the narrator continues, but about the man others already see. And once you notice the signs, you'll never see yourself the same way again. The tension grows. The audience leans in, wondering, what are those signs? How do people show interest without words? Could it be happening to them too, right now, without their knowledge? The young man looks around, still missing it all. The camera zooms on the girl who quickly looks away, embarrassed she was caught staring. A soft laugh echoes in the background, direct, yet at a joke he didn't even know he made. The narrator asks once more, sharper this time. What if your whole life you've been far more attractive than you thought, but you never realized it? The screen fades to black. The suspense lingers. The audience is hooked. The young man sits quietly, his hands folded, his mind racing. He does not see the stolen glances or the curious smiles. Instead, he sees his own reflection in his thoughts. Too plain, too average, too easy to ignore. Every mirror feels like an enemy. He stares at his hair, always thinking it's wrong. He notices the curve of his nose, the lines on his skin, the clothes that never seem to fit the way he wants. In his mind, other men always look sharper, stronger, taller. Other men carry something he believes he lacks. He compares himself again and again, always finding reasons to believe he falls short. He remembers moments from the past. Times when he stood in a group and felt like the background. Times when friends seemed louder, funnier, more confident. Times when women laughed at another man's joke while his words went unnoticed. Each memory becomes proof for his belief. I am not attractive. I am just ordinary. The narrator's voice cuts through. But is this truth, or only the story he tells himself? The young man walks down the street later that night. He passes a store window and catches his reflection. His shoulders slump. His eyes drop. To him, the glass shows only flaws. He shakes his head and keeps walking, never knowing that a stranger passing by just turned their head to look at him twice. His self-doubt is a wall, blocking him from seeing reality. And behind that wall, a secret waits, one that he has never dared to believe. The narrator whispers, sometimes the greatest lie is the one you tell yourself, and sometimes the truth is far more powerful. The next day begins like any other. The young man wakes, dresses, and goes about his routine, carrying the same doubts in his mind. But the world around him tells a different story, one he does not notice. At work, a group of friends gathers. When he speaks, people lean closer. One person laughs a little too quickly at his joke. Another repeats his words as if they carry more weight. He doesn't think much of it. To him it feels normal. To them, it's a sign of his presence. Later, he meets someone new. As they talk, she plays with her hair without realizing it, tilting her head and smiling. He thinks nothing of it, assuming it's just polite behavior. But the camera lingers on her eyes that keep finding their way back to his. Even with strangers, small signals appear. A man steps aside on the sidewalk to let him pass. A woman holds a door a second longer, glancing over her shoulder. People nod at him in passing, as if drawn to him for reasons he cannot explain. But he remains blind. He tells himself it's chance, habit, nothing more. He walks through the day unaware that these small things are not small at all. The narrator steps in. You see, attraction does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it hides in gestures, in glances, in the space people give you. These are the clues. Clues that say, you are seen, you are noticed, you are wanted. The young man smiles politely at a group, unaware that their eyes follow him as he leaves. He shakes hands with someone, never realizing their grip lingered a little longer. He does not see the hints, but they are everywhere. The question is, the narrator asks, how long can he ignore the truth before it finally reaches him? That night, the young man sits with a close friend at a small cafe. The warm light falls across the table, but his mood feels heavy. He stirs his drink, lost in his thoughts. His friend watches him quietly, almost amused. You really don't see it, do you? The friend finally says. The young man looks up, confused. See what? His friend leans forward, a smile on their face. The way people look at you. The way they listen when you speak. You think you're invisible, but you're not. Trust me, you're noticed more than you realize. The young man laughs nervously, brushing it off. No, that's not true. I'm just average. But the friend shakes their head. No, I've seen it. The stares, the smiles. People respect you, even admire you. You just don't believe it. For a moment, silence hangs in the air. The young man feels a strange tension inside, half disbelief, half curiosity. Could it be true? Could he really be missing something so obvious? The narrator's voice breaks in. Sometimes it only takes one voice to shatter years of doubt. One simple truth, spoken aloud, can open a door that was locked for too long. The young man leans back, unsure. His mind fights against the words, but a seed has been planted. A small, quiet thought he cannot shake. What if I really am more attractive than I believe? The camera lingers on his face, a flicker of doubt in his doubt. A moment of change. The next morning the young man wakes with his friend's words echoing in his mind. You don't see it, but people notice you. He doesn't want to believe it, yet he can't push it away. As he steps outside, he decides, just this once, to pay closer attention. Walking down the street, he notices a woman glance at him, then quickly look away when their eyes meet. He feels a small spark of surprise. Was that interest? At work, he makes a casual comment in a group conversation. For the first time, he notices how everyone turns slightly toward him. Some laugh harder than he expected. One person repeats his joke, almost as if giving it more power. His chest feels lighter, as though the world has shifted just a little. Later that day, he passes through a crowded doorway. Someone steps aside, smiling as they let him through. He thanks them, but this time he wonders, would they have done that for anyone? Or was it because of him? The young man is quiet, but inside, something stirs. His old doubts are still there, whispering that it's all chance, all coincidence. Yet another voice now rises, stronger, whispering back, maybe my friend was right. Maybe I've been blind to this the whole time. The narrator speaks softly. When you start to look for the signs, you see them everywhere. They were always there. The only thing missing was belief. The young man walks on, his steps a little steadier, his head held a little higher. For the first time, he begins to wonder if he has been underestimating himself all along. Days pass, and the young man starts to notice more than ever before. Every glance, every smile, every small reaction feels clearer now. What once seemed invisible is now impossible to ignore. And something inside him shifts. He no longer walks with his shoulders hunched. Instead, he stands taller, his steps calm but steady. His voice grows stronger, not louder, but filled with quiet confidence. His eyes meet others without fear, holding just long enough to spark something unspoken. The world responds instantly. People greet him with warmer smiles. Strangers nod when he passes, as if they sense his presence. Conversations flow easier. Laughter comes quicker. The air around him feels lighter. He has not changed his clothes. He has not changed his face. The change is deeper. It is the way he carries himself, the way he now believes just enough to let others believe too. The narrator explains. Attraction is not only about looks. It is energy, presence, the silent message you give the world. When you believe in yourself, others believe it too. When you walk with confidence, the world walks with you. The young man smiles to himself as he leaves a room. He doesn't need proof anymore. He feels it. He sees it in the eyes of others, in the way they react without words. For the first time he realizes, I was never invisible. I just couldn't see what was always there. The young man walks through the world with new eyes. The streets are the same, the people are the same, but everything feels different. For the first time he notices the energy around him. He feels it in every glance, every word, every small smile that once went unseen. He understands now. He was never lacking. The problem was never his face, his body, or his style. The problem was the story he told himself. A story of doubt, a story of weakness, a story of being just average. But that story is gone. The narrator's voice rises with calm strength. You may not see it, but the world often sees more in you than you see in yourself. People notice you. They are drawn to you. The signs are already there, waiting for you to pay attention. The young man pauses at a mirror, but this time he does not search for flaws. Instead, he sees possibility. He sees presence. He sees a man who was attractive all along. He turns and walks away, his steps light, his head high. The narrator leaves the audience with one final challenge. Look around today. Watch closely. Notice the smiles, the glances, the small reactions. You may be far more attractive than you ever believed. The only question is, will you finally see it? The screen fades to black. The story is complete, but the question lingers in the mind of every viewer.